namely psychology, sociology, and communication studies. It is one of the general faculties at the university which develop social science and Muslim societies through the lens of Islamic insight. Established in 2005, the faculty has produced outstanding intellectuals and professionals in their fields. Many facilities support student creativity both in the academic and non-academic field, including interactive centers, classroom, psychology reading rooms, audio-visual rooms, computer rooms, development laboratory, social laboratory, clinical laboratory, applied psychology center or APC, industry and organizations laboratory, sociology laboratory, public relations laboratory, advertising laboratory, studio room, mosque, libraries, and shady space outdoor. A wide range of activities for students is also interesting to get to know, including inter-campus student organization consisting of the Student Executive Council, Student Senate, Study Program Association, Sport Autonomous Body, Journalistic Autonomous Body, Al-Fatah Autonomous Body, and various student activity units. At the department level, annual activity are also held by students. Psychology Festival in Psychology Department and Expo of Sociopreneur in Sociology Department and Creative Advertising Festival in Communication Science. Many activities at the international level are also held regularly every year, including the annual International Conference on Social Science and Humanities and the International Jogja Youth Camp. All students are encouraged to actively participate in international events such as competitions, exchange programs, conferences, etc. The Faculty of Social Science and Humanities also has several journals. Among them are Journal of Integrative Psychology, Journal Sociology Reflective, the Faculty Journal of Communication. At the faculty level, there is the Jogja International Journal. Confidently, we always discuss innovation challenges to properly position ourselves amidst the social change and other developments in many sectors of life. We will keep producing young scholars contributing to society both on the national and global levels. Welcome to Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, State Islamic University, Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. The Faculty of Social Science and Humanities is one of the favorite faculties at Sunan Kalijaga State Islamic University. This faculty has 3 departments, namely Psychology, Sociology, and Communication Studies. It is one of the general faculties at the university which develop social science and Muslim societies to the lens Islamic insight. Established 2005, faculty has produced outstanding intellectuals and professionals in their fields. Many facilities support students' creativity both in the academic and non-academic field, including interactive centers, classroom, psychology rooms, audio-visual rooms, computer rooms, development laboratory, social laboratory, clinical laboratory, Applied Psychology Center or ABC, Industrial Organization Laboratory, Sociology Laboratory, Public Relations Laboratory, Advertising Laboratory, Studio Room, Mosque, Libraries, and Studies Outdoor. A wide range of activities for students is also interesting to get to know, including inter-campus organization consisting of the Student Council, Student Senate, Study Program Association, Sport Autonomous Body, Journalistic Autonomous Body, Alpha Autonomous Body, and various student activity units. At the department level, annual activity also helps the student. Psychology Festival in Psychology Department and Expo of Sociopreneur Social Department and Creative Advertising Festival in Communication Science. Many activities at the international level are also held every year, including the annual national conference, social science and humanities, and the international Jogja camp. All students are encouraged to actively participate in international events such as competitions, exchange programs, conferences, etc. The faculty of social science and humanities also has several journals. Among them are Journal of Integrative Psychology, Journal Sociology, the Faculty of Communication. At the faculty level, there is the Kalijaga International Journal. Confidently, we always guess new challenges to propose ourselves and social change and other developments in many sectors of life. We will produce young scholars contributing to society both national and global levels. Welcome to Faculty of Social Science and Humanities. State Islamic University, Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. The Faculty of Social Science and Humanities is one of the favorite faculties at Sunan Kalijaga Islamic University. This faculty has three departments, namely psychology, sociology, and communication studies. It is one of the general faculties at the university which develop social science and Muslim society to the lens Islamic insight. Established 2005, faculty has produced outstanding intellectuals and professionals in their fields. Many facilities support students' creativity, both in the academic and non-academic field, including interactive centers, classroom, psychology reading rooms, audio-visual rooms, computer rooms, development laboratory, social laboratory, clinical laboratory, applied psychology center or ABC, industrial organization laboratory, sociology laboratory, public relations laboratory, advertising laboratory, studio room, mosque, libraries, and studies outdoor. A wide range of activities for students is also interesting to get to know, including inter-campus student organization consisting of the student council, student senate, study program association, sports autonomous body, journalistic autonomous body, autonomous body, and various student activity units. At the department level, annual activity also held by students. Psychology festival in psychology department and expo of sociopreneur sociology department and creative advertising festival in communication science. Many activities at the international level are also held every year, including the annual national conference, social science, humanities, and the international Jogja camp. All students are encouraged to actively participate in international events such as competitions, exchange programs, conferences, etc. The Faculty of Social Science and Humanities also has several journals. Among them are Journal of Creative Psychology, Journal Sociology, the Faculty Journal of Communication. At the faculty level, there is the Kalijaga International Journal. Confidently, we always guess the challenges to proposition ourselves and social change and other developments in many sectors of life. We will produce young scholars contributing to society both national and global levels. Welcome to Faculty of Social Science and Humanities. State Islamic University, Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. The Faculty of Social Science and Humanities is one of the favorite faculties at Sunan Kalijaga State Islamic University. This faculty has three departments, namely psychology, sociology, and communication studies. It is one of the general faculties at the university which develop social science and Muslim society to the lens of Islamic insight. Established 2005, faculty has produced outstanding intellectuals and professionals in their fields. Many facilities support student creativity, both in the academic and non-academic field, including interactive centers, classroom, psychology rooms, audio-visual rooms, computer rooms, development laboratory, social laboratory, clinical laboratory, applied psychology center or ABC, industrial organization laboratory, sociology laboratory, publications laboratory, advertising laboratory, studio room, mosque, libraries, and churches outdoor. A wide range of activities for students is also interesting to get to know, including interactive student organization consisting of the student council, student senate, study program association, sports autonomous body, journalistic autonomous body, autonomous body, and various student activities. At the department level, annual activity also help students. Psychology Festival, Psychology Department, and X of Sociopreneurs, Social Department, and Creative Advertising Festival in Communication Studies. Many activities at the international level are also held every year, including the annual National Conference Social Science Humanities and the international Jogja camp. All students are encouraged to actively participate in international events such as competitions, exchange programs, conferences, etc. The Faculty of Social Science and Humanities also has several journals. Among them are Journal of Integrative Psychology, Journal of Sociology, the Faculty of Communication. At the faculty level, there is the Kalijaga International Journal. Confidently, we always ask new challenges to proposition ourselves and social change and development in many sectors of life. We will produce young scholars contributing to society both national and global levels. Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, State Islamic University, Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. The Faculty of Social Science and Humanities is one of the favorite faculties at Sunan Kalijaga State Islamic University. This faculty has 3 departments, namely Psychology, Sociology, and Communication Studies. It is one of the general faculties at the university which develop social science and Muslim societies through the lens of Islamic insight. Established in 2005, the faculty has produced outstanding intellectuals and professionals in their fields. Many facilities support student creativity both in the academic and non-academic field, including interactive centers, classroom, psychology reading rooms, audio-visual rooms, computer rooms, development laboratory, social laboratory, clinical laboratory, applied psychology center or APC, industry and organizations laboratory, sociology laboratory, public relations laboratory, advertising laboratory, studio room, mosque, libraries, and shady space outdoor. A wide range of activities for students is also interesting to get to know, including intra-campus students organization consisting of the Student Executive Council, Student Senate, Study Program Association, Sport Autonomous Body, Journalistic Autonomous Body, Al-Fatah Autonomous Body, and various student activity units. At the department level, annual activity are also held by students. Psychology Festival in Psychology Department and Expo of Sociopreneur in Sociology Department and Creative Advertising Festival in Communication Science. Many activities at the international level are also held regularly every year, including the annual International Conference on Social Science and Humanities and the International Jogja Youth Camp. All students are encouraged to actively participate in international events such as competitions, exchange programs, conferences, etc. The Faculty of Social Science and Humanities also has several journals. Among them are Journal of Integrative Psychology, Journal Sociology Reflective, Prophetic Journal of Communication. At the faculty level, there is the Kalijaga International Journal. Confidently, we always discuss innovation challenges to properly position ourselves amidst the social change and other developments in many sectors of life. We will keep producing young scholars contributing to society both on the national and global levels. Welcome to Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, State Islamic University, Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. The Faculty of Social Science and Humanities is one of the favorite faculties at Sunan Kalijaga State Islamic University. This faculty has three departments, namely Psychology, Sociology, and Communication Studies. It is one of the general faculties at the university which develop social science and Muslim societies through the lens of Islamic insight. Established in 2005, the faculty has produced outstanding intellectuals and professionals in their fields. Many facilities support student creativity both in the academic and non-academic field, including interactive centers, classroom, psychology reading rooms, audio-visual rooms, computer rooms, development laboratory, social laboratory, clinical laboratory, applied psychology center or APC, industry and organizations laboratory, sociology laboratory, public relations laboratory, advertising laboratory, studio room, mosque, libraries, and shady space outdoor. A wide range of activities for students is also interesting to get to know, including intra-campus students organization consisting of the Student Executive Council, Student Senate, Study Program Association, Sport Autonomous Body, Journalistic Autonomous Body, Al-Fatah Autonomous Body, and various student activity units. At the department level, annual activity are also held by students. Psychology Festival in Psychology Department and Expo of Sociopreneur in Sociology Department and Creative Advertising Festival in Communication Science.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Rector of Islamic State University, Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Professor Dr. Pir Almakin, SAGMA, and along the staff.
The Honorable Head of BPIPRI, Profesor Dr. Kiai Haji Yudian Wahyudi, MA, PhD.
The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, Dr. Muhammad Sodiq, SOS MSc, and along the staff.
The Honorable Chairman of Committee, Dwi Nurlaila Fitriani, SIPMA, along the staff.
And all of the lecturers and also audiences as the participant of this event.
I am your Master of Ceremony today. My name is Tri Isnaini Adesria, accompanied by Muhammad Fahru Rozi. We would like to say welcome to opening ceremony of International Jogja Youth Camp 2023 under the theme How Can Youth Engage in Southeast Asia Future? Please give a round of applause.
First of all, let's say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us mercies and blessing for participating in this special event without any obstacles. Praise and salutation always belong to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness to the lightness.
I would like to welcome our speakers today, Dr. Meridian Alam, as Assistant Professor of Sociology at Faculty Art and Social Science, Brunei Darussalam University. Dr. Nina Mariana Nur, SSMA, as a Head of Major Study Program Interdisciplinary Islamic Studies, Islamic State University of Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. Mr. Fahri Salam, as a Chief Editor of Project Multatuli.
Today, we have several agenda as follows. First is opening, and second is reciting Holy Quran, and the third singing national anthem and wind march. Remarks from the chairman of FISUM Student Council is the fourth program. Remarks from the chairman of the committee is the fifth program. The sixth program, welcoming speech from the Dean of Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities. Seventh, opening speech from Rector of Islamic State University Sunan Kalijaga. Photo session, welcoming dance, and the last is seminar enjoy camp.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin this event by reciting Basmalah together.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Next, we move to the next agenda is reciting Holy Quran, who will be recited by Muhammad Al-Bushairi. To him, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم صدق الله العظيم. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Mr. Muhammad Al-Bushairi.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we step up to the next agenda, let's sing the national anthem of Indonesia and Women's March, that will be led by our sister Amni Teo. For all participants, please raise. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
The next agenda is remarks from the chairman of FISUM Student Council to Mr. Reza Furkonza. Time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Alhamdulillahilladzi hadana li hadza wa ma kunna linahtadiya laula an hadanallah. Sholatan wa salaman ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. The Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, Dr. Muhammad Sodik, SOS MSI, along the South. The Honorable Chief of Organizing Committee, Ms. Dwi Nur Laila Fitria MA. The Honorable all elements that involved in this event and our proud participant who was participated in this International Jogja Youth Camp 2023. Welcome to Indonesia, welcome to Yogyakarta, and welcome to our university, UIN Sunan Kalijaga. I hope it can be a good and valuable experience for us. It is an honor to stand here, welcoming you all, who was certainly great people, who have taken steps to contribute to the common good. In this Enjoy Camp 2023, we take the theme is, how can youth engage in Southeast Asia's future? With three main aspects about democracy, environment, and multiculturalism. We hope with this event can be a motivation and encouragement for us. Whereas youth, we are at the front line, providing innovation and contributing to the global good. And we hope with this event, we will show to the other people that we are, as youth in Southeast Asia, have ideas that are great to welcoming global development, especially in social aspect. And then, I would like to thank to all committee who was so incredible in preparing this event. Also, I apologize as much as possible if there are still many shortcomings in organizing and welcoming. And then, please enjoy the moment. Make this moment as a valuable moment for us. And if Javanese say, mugi-mugi kerasan dan semoga berkesan. Thanks for your attention. Wallahu muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Mr. Reza Furkonza for the speech.
The next agenda is remark from the chairman of committee, Dwi Nur Laila Fitriani, SIPMA. Time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable to the Dean of Social Science and Humanities Faculty, Bapak Dr. Muhammad Sodik, and also Vice Dean 1, Vice Dean 2, Dr. Yani Triwijayanti, Bapak Dr. Badrun, and also all of the speakers, Bu Dr. Nina, Bapak Dr. Meridian, and also Bapak Fahri Salam. Today, we can carry out the International Youth Camp 2023. This year, we have the theme about the environment, democracy, and also multiculturalism. Firstly, we would like to congratulate the participants who have been selected to present their social project. Hopefully, this International Youth Camp event can bring mutual benefit for us. We also express our thanks to those who have supported this event from the Dean's Committee and all participants. And the last, I want to say enjoy and participate well in this event. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for Mr. Dwi Nurlaila Fitriani for the speech.
The next agenda is welcoming speech and opening from the Dean of Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, to Dr. Muhammad Sodik, SOS MSI. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nahmaduka ya dzal jalali wal ikram wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa salam amma ba'da. Excellencies Rector of UIN Sunan Kalijaga Yogyakarta, Profesor Dr. Al-Makin, and Head of BPIP, Profesor Dr. Yudian Wahyudi PSD, Vice Dean Visum UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Ibu Yani, Pak Badrun, Bu Sulis, ya. Head of IKOM, Pak Rama Kertamuti, Chairwoman, Ibu Pipit Fitria, speakers, Ibu Dr. Mariani Nur, thank you very much. Bapak Dr. Meridian Alam via Zoom, selamat datang kapan-kapan lain waktu Pak Dr. Alam, sahabat kita. Bapak Fahri Salam yang dalam perjalanan. Semua panitia ya, yang sudah menyiapkan acara luar biasa. Mohon maaf, tadi saya konfirmasi pada Bu Ketua, Bu, saya sambutan bahasa Inggris atau bahasa Indonesia bebas, gitu ya. Ya campur-campur ya. Baik, yang pertama Bapak Rektor akan memberikan sambutan nanti siang, karena sekarang bersamaan wisuda. Jadi wisuda UIN itu biasanya 2 kali, bahkan dulu sekali, sekarang 3 hari berturut-turut. Jadi Senin, Selasa, Rabu ya. Sehingga Pak Rektor nanti insya Allah untuk memberikan keynote speakers sekitar siang hari ya. Kepala BPIP mohon izin karena mendadak ada acara kenegaraan sehingga harus diutamakan. Insya Allah akan datang di lain waktu. Saya sangat gembira dengan segenap dosen, mahasiswa, panitia, dan tentu kepada para dosen yang sudah membimbing acara ini, Bu Kabak yang sudah mengawal juga. Ada 3 isu penting yang ini saya kira menjadi komitmen bersama. Yang pertama adalah isu lingkungan. Mengapa lingkungan ini penting ya? Karena memang isu lingkungan adalah sesuatu hal yang selama ini dianggap jauh dari kita. Oleh karena itu, saya kira para pembicara dan juga semua presenter ya nanti akan bicara secara serius isu lingkungan. Di dalam semua agama itu sangat concern terhadap lingkungan. Tetapi pada saat yang sama, banyak umat beragama itu perusak lingkungan. Nah, jadi ada paradoks di sini ya. Jadi paradok ini saya kira paradok yang sangat serius. Karena profetika Al-Quran itu sangat serius bicara lingkungan, tapi pada saat yang sama umatnya, beragama-agama tentu ya, itu juga sangat serius merusak lingkungan. Oleh karena itu saya harapkan untuk Enjoy Camp pada kesempatan ini nanti harus memberikan rekomendasi tentang lingkungan. Karena kalau lingkungan tidak pernah menjadi perhatian, maka siapa yang memperhatikan? Jadi anak-anak muda harus pertama kali serius bicara tentang lingkungan. Jadi lingkungan ini amanah profetik yang sangat luar biasa. Oleh karena itu sekali lagi saya pesan betul ini ya. Maka visum, nanti kalau Mas dan Mbak yang belum pernah ke visum ya, itu lingkungan kita itu ya cukup kita jaga ya. Mimpi saya, mimpi kami sebenarnya ya, itu ada hutan dalam kampus. Maka sebelum ada hutan dalam kampus, sementara taman dalam kampus ya. Jadi ke depan harus ada hutan dalam kampus. Makanya pembangunan yang di Pajangan nanti harapannya pasti ada hutan dalam kampus. Karena ini ada komitmen lingkungan. Kemudian berikutnya adalah demokrasi ya. Menjadi pertanyaan penting adalah apakah demokrasi kita itu sudah substansial atau masih prosedural. Oleh karena itu kita juga harus serius di sini memikirkan agar supaya kaum milenial, anak-anak muda ya, ini juga menjadi bagian dari demokrasi dalam arti sesungguhnya. Oleh karena itu, maka demokrasi inilah harus kita jaga betul, karena memilih pemula ini sangat luar biasa. Oleh karena itu, kita harus serius sekali ya. Bahkan saya pernah secara joke ya, Anda sebelum memilih itu istikharah dulu. Jadi memilih pemimpin itu seperti memilih jodoh ya. Istikharah ya, serius itu kan. Karena bagian dari demokrasi ya itu tadi. Kita memilih pemimpin yang cocok dengan hati nurani dan membara visi misi Indonesia dan juga visi misi global untuk kemanusiaan. Dan kita tahu demokrasi masih sering disebut sebagai demokrasi prosedural. Oleh karena itu kita harus menggeser demokrasi prosedural menjadi demokrasi yang lebih substansial. Yang terakhir, multikulturalisme ya, ini sangat penting. Saya kira Bu Nina ini bagian penting dari proses multikulturalisme ya, dan juga para pembicara yang lain tentu. Bagaimana kita ya, sedang menghadapi tantangan yang sangat berat. Isu global, perang di beberapa negara yang sekarang sedang berkecamuk, khususnya Rusia, Ukraina, Palestina, Israel. Ya. Ini sebenarnya tusukan yang luar biasa ketika kita bicara tentang multikulturalisme. Saya kira forum ini harus keras, mengutuk setiap kekerasan yang mengancam multikulturalisme, mengancam kemanusiaan. Ini harus sangat serius ya, karena Indonesia ya, dengan negara-negara lain ya, ada teman-teman dari Thailand, dari Brunei, dan nanti juga dari Malaysia, Singapura, dan juga yang lain-lain. Yang muda harus serius betul, ya. Karena kemerdekaan adalah hak segala bangsa. Oleh karena itu kita harus sungguh sangat serius. Ketika bicara multikulturalisme, maka kita sesungguhnya adalah bicara tentang kemanusiaan, bicara tentang perdamaian, bicara tentang bagaimana kekerasan dan semacamnya harus tidak ada di muka bumi, tidak ada di kampus, tidak ada di lingkungan kita. Oleh karena itu nanti ya ada rekomendasi-rekomendasi yang serius ya, sehingga harapan kita setelah acara kita ini ada tinggalan pesan Jogja, pesan Enjoy Camp atau apalah ya, paling tidak di dalam 3 isu tadi, lingkungan, demokrasi, dan multikulturalisme. Kalau kita tidak ambil bagian di dalam situasi seperti ini, siapa lagi? Jadi kita harus betul-betul serius karena saya yakin Mas dan Mbak semua peserta adalah bagian terpenting di dalam proses perbaikan lingkungan, demokrasi dan multikulturalisme. Itu saya kira catatan pendek. Mohon maaf saya bahasa Indonesia biar lebih ekspresif ya. Kalau bahasa Inggris saya agak kaku ya, mohon maaf. Oleh karena itu sekali lagi saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada semua narasumber, presenter, moderator, peserta, dan wabil khusus kepada panitia yang menyiapkan acara ini sudah cukup lama dan alhamdulillah sudah terlaksana di dalam proses ini. Jadi kita jaga betul dan kami harapkan acara ini tidak hanya berakhir dalam 1-2 hari. Pertemanan harus terus kita jalin. Oleh karena itu apakah nanti lewat grup WA, sesekali yang nanti akan bermain di visum, kita berserius juga menindaklanjuti dari rekomendasi-rekomendasi acara ini ya. Jadi sekali lagi saya sangat berharap anak-anak muda yang terpilih di forum ini, anak-anak milenial, anak-anak masa depan, kita serius bersama-sama untuk membangun dunia yang lebih beradab. Semoga bermanfaat. Di dalam proses ini kita adalah bagian dari Global Village. Marilah acara ini kita buka dengan baca basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
have watched together welcoming dance that shown by students of Faculty of Social Science and Humanities. Give applause for them.
The next agenda is a photo session. I hope the cameramen take the opportunity.
For all lecturers, please come forward. Diharap kepada Pak Dekan untuk maju dan seluruh dosen. Diharap seluruh dosen untuk berdiri di depan. Diharap seluruh dosen untuk berdiri di depan untuk foto.
Kepada seluruh dosen dan juga narasumber untuk bisa maju ke depan, kami harap untuk maju ke depan untuk sesi foto bersama. Ladies and gentlemen, we will move to the main event, International Jogja Youth Camp 2023, under the theme, How Can Youth Engage in Southeast Asia's Future? That will be hosted by our moderator, Dinda Vivi Kurnia.
We, as Master of Ceremony, apologize for our mistake and thank you. And we will give the time for our moderator. Please, time is yours.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? Our seminar is about to begin. Please have a nice seat. Thank you very much for preparing yourself to join our seminar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Good morning everyone. I would like to thank the Master of Ceremonies who gave me time to guide the discussion this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dinda Vivi Kurnia, the moderator of today's seminar. I am very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this seminar. Today's seminar is about how can youth engage in Southeast Asia's future. Please give applause. Ladies and gentlemen, our speaker today will be delivered by Mr. Fahri Salam as a Chief Editor of Project Multatuli, Dr. Nina Mariani Not SSMA as a Head of Magister Study Program International Islamic Studies UIN Sunan Kalijaga Yogyakarta, and Dr. Meridian Alam as an Assistant Professor of Sociology of Faculty of Arts and Social Science, University Brunei Darussalam. Pembicara kita hari ini akan dibawakan oleh Bapak Fahri Salam selaku pemimpin redaksi Project Multatuli, Dr. Nina Mariani Not SSMA selaku Ketua Program Studi Magister Kajian Islam Internasional UIN Sunan Kalijaga Yogyakarta, dan Dr. Meridian Alam sebagai Asisten Profesor Sosiologi di Fakultas Seni dan Ilmu Sosial University Brunei Darussalam. Without further ado, I'd like to invite our presenter to accompany me in front of you all. For the presenter, to in front of please. Please give applause to our presenters. Before the presentation begin, let me inform how the presentation will be going on. First, presentation will be begin. After that, there will be question and answer session and followed by conclusion. Sebelum presentasi dimulai, izinkan saya menginformasikan bagaimana presentasi akan berlangsung. Pertama, presentasi akan dimulai, setelah itu akan ada sesi tanya jawab dan dilanjutkan dengan kesimpulan. Now, allow me to welcome the speaker, Dr. Nina Mariani Not SSMA, as a Head of Magister Study Program International Islamic Studies UIN Sunan Kalijaga Yogyakarta, to deliver her presentation. For Dr. Nina Mariani Not SSMA, the floor is yours. Sekarang izinkan saya menyambut pemateri pertama, yaitu Dr. Nina Mariani Not SSMA, selaku Ketua Program Studi Magister Kajian Islam Internasional UIN Sunan Kalijaga Yogyakarta, untuk menyampaikan pemaparannya. Untuk Dr. Nina Mariani Not SSMA, dipersilahkan.
Thank you, the moderator, for the time for me to give my presentation. Assalamualaikum. Wait, I think. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua, salam kebajikan. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh amma ba'd. First of all, I will thank for the Dean of Faculty Social Sciences and Humanities, Dr. Muhammad Sodik, and all the Vice Dean of Faculty Social Sciences and Humanities, and to the committee of this International Jogja Youth Camp, Enjoy Camp 2023. Thank you for having me here to share with you about multiculturalism. And today I will share about Gen Z, Generation Z, and multiculturalism in Southeast Asia. As we know that, so I will talk about multiculturalism in Southeast Asia, in some countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. And then I will discuss about the characteristic of Generation Z, Gen Z. And the last one, how will Gen Z participate in this multicultural society. So first, of course, we will talk about what is multiculturalism. As we know, maybe you are as Generation Z. I think most of the participants here is Generation Z that is born in from 2012 to, from 1997 to 2012, if I'm not mistaken. So multiculturalism, flares provide us a usable typology of multiculturalism. Actually, if we talk about multiculturalism, there are a lot of means of that term. So he cataloged 5 levels of meaning for multiculturalism. The first one is multiculturalism as an empirical fact that describes the increasingly diverse world we live in. So we live in a diverse world, it means multiculturalism. So it's a fact. And the second one, multiculturalism as an ideology or philosophy, which believes in the rightness of respecting cultural differences and promoting social equality. The third, multiculturalism as official policy and program, which endorses a mosaic of fixed identities and identifiable ethnicities. The fourth, multiculturalism as a practice, which reflects the convergence of policy and philosophy at a grounded level. And the last one, the fifth, multiculturalism as counter-hegemony, which challenges the Eurocentric racialized constitutional order. So there are 5 useful typologies that we can use to understand what multiculturalism is. And now we move forward. Will Kimblika said that multiculturalism is a global discourse. So it is a discourse which has appeal in Asia, mostly in Asia, as nation-states search for ways to accommodate an increasingly diverse and complex population amid globalizing forces of migration and democratization. Multiculturalism is a situation in which all the different cultural or racial groups in a society have equal rights and opportunities, and none is ignored or considered unimportant. So in multiculturalism, all people are considered. So that's why in multiculturalism mostly talk about minorities, right of LGBT and ethnicities, languages, so minority from any kind of dimension. Ian Ang argues that multiculturalism is a mode of governmentality aimed at regulating and reconciling tensions and conflicts resulting from cultural, racial, or ethnic differences. Multiculturalism is clearly beyond toleration, and state neutrality for it involves active support for cultural difference, active discouragement against hostility and disapproval, and the remaking of the public sphere in order to fully include marginalized identities. And if we talk about multiculturalism in Southeast Asia, so we have discussed about what is multiculturalism. Now we move to talk about the practice, how multiculturalism in Southeast Asia. So countries in Southeast Asia share similar characteristics in terms of ethnic, cultural diversity. Each country is rich with its population of different ethnicities, religions, and languages. So Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore are highly diverse in the nation ethnically, linguistically, religiously, culturally, socially, and politically. But they are diverse in different ways how they cope with diversity. So they have their own different ways to cope with the diversity in their own country. Let's move to Indonesia. Indonesia at first is already plural societies. In Indonesia, there are about more than 300 ethnicities with their own languages. So with their diverse culture, and in order to accommodate the diverse communities, the new Republic Indonesia, when it was have their independence in 17 August 1945, Indonesia chose Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, choose Pancasila. So unity in diversity. So the ideology of Pancasila plays a pivotal role in Indonesia to unite people from different ethnicity and religions. Although after the post-Suharto era, in the Reformasi era, there are more, what we can say that like hostilities that happen among different ethnic, different religious in Indonesia. So as we know, we have like conflict Ambon, and then we have like conflict Poso, and then Sampit. It happened after the Reformasi era because of the democratization. But nowadays, Indonesia try to put multiculturalism in the education. So in 2013, they implemented the multiculturalism in curriculum in the school, in the new curriculum that implemented. Let's move to Malaysia. Malaysia, if we see, it seems that Malaysia all are Malay. But no, actually Malaysia's population is heterogeneous also, like in Indonesia. The ethnics mostly as Bumiputra. In Bumiputra here is Malay people, and then Chinese, they have Chinese 23%, and Indian. Malaysia's multiculturalism is represented by the rich linguistic diversity of its multi-ethnic population. So Malays speak Malay, Chinese speak Mandarin, Indians speak Indian, and indigenous groups. In Malaysia, there are about 137 languages spoken, and the official and national language is Malay, but different ethnic speak different language. How about how Malaysia use multiculturalism? If there are 5 typology, so in Malaysia they use it as an approach and a policy. It's also said that shaped by the pre-colonial and colonial experiences. As we know that Malaysia was under Britain colonialism. Ethnicity and religions are mixed, as Malay is one who professes Islam and speaks Malay. So in Malaysia, to be a Malay means that you are Muslim. If you are a Malay but you are not Muslim, it means you are not Malay. Your ethnicity Malay but your religion is not Islam, it means you are not Malay. It happened in Malaysia. The constitution said Islam, so Malaysia is an Islamic country, and in the states region, while abuse allows religious freedom, but it is an Islamic country, but it allows religious freedom. You can be non-Muslim in Malaysia. It's different from Indonesia. Indonesia is a Pancasila country. So Indonesia is not, although Indonesia is the biggest Muslim population in the world, but Indonesia is not Islam country, not Islamic state, not an Islamic state, but a Pancasila state. Although in the practice, most people still want to have like a Islamic country in Islamic state in Indonesia. In Malaysia, multiculturalism is almost always framed in ethnic boundaries, with class, gender, and religion sometimes present to complicate them. So as I has talked before, that to be Malay is to be Muslim. So ethnic boundaries. Now we move to multiculturalism in Singapore. Singapore is a city-state of immigrant settlers. So because Singapore is like port, actually it was a port. So the most population are Chinese, 74%, Malay for 14%, Indian 10%, and others 2%. So others can be expatriate from Europe or United States. And in Singapore, multiculturalism is defined and contested in a city-state on a decidedly secular constitution, although religious and communal factor has become increasingly realized by the predominantly Chinese ruling party. So the difference between Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. Malaysia is Islamic state, Indonesia Pancasila, and for Singapore, they choose to be secular. So religion is not the business of the state. Languages spoken in Singapore, Malay, Chinese, Tamil, and English. So the most people talk with those languages, but then the country have the policy bilingual policy. So for example, for Malay, so the first language is Malay, but the national language is in English. So that's why sometimes we listen about Singlish, so Singaporean English. And then what about and multiculturalism in Singapore is defined as multiculturalism is the concept of collective ownership, because they realize that they are all immigrant in Singapore actually, so that have the collective ownership of the country. What about in Thailand? We are here, have our sisters brother from Thailand. Okay, Thailand actually, if we compare to those three countries, actually is more homogene, because in Thailand it's not quite multicultural, because it's not official for multiculturalism, because in Thailand is homogeneous country, or rather homogeneity had been incessantly stressed in official and other discourse, while repressing differences in the process of nation building throughout the 20th century. As we know, Thailand mostly Buddhism. Yeah, they have Muslim in the south part of Thailand, so that close to Malaysia. So we have Phor Songkhla from the south part of Thailand, but becoming minority for Muslim in Thailand. So Thailand stress, because the country, the state of Thailand stresses on homogeneity or non-recognition of its own diversity. stand out among countries in the region. Although actually, in fact, in Thailand there are some ethnicities. They have different ethnicities also, but the policy of the government is not placing multiculturalism. They have 30 ethnic groups with different cultures, and there are about 70 languages spoken in Thailand. But Thailand doesn't apply multiculturalism, but applies cultural assimilation as a nation building abroad since the early 20th century. So assimilation, not the multiculturalism. Because for multiculturalism, every ethnic, every culture can live in harmony. But in assimilation, it means they assimilate to build a new culture. Now, I will try to have how the correlation between Generation Z and the multiculturalism. But before that, we have to know who are they? Who are Generation Z? So for Generation Z, I think most of students here are Generation Z, because Generation Z, if in us, so you were born from 1997 to 2012. So most of you, I think, is born in 2000, yes, 2007 maybe that you are here. And so the ranging age now is from 11 to 26 years old in these years. And in Southeast Asia, they make up 24% of the population. So in many Asian countries, youthful, so not only Gen Z, actually we have millennials, so that make up the population mostly now is youth, millennials, and Generation Z, that much larger Gen Z than other region. And so Gen Z have grown up in more connected, open, diverse, and borderless world. Amid strong economic growth and where the internet and social media have always been part of their lives. Gen Z is a digital native. So me myself, I'm an X generation, even not Y, even not millennial. I'm already X. So what the characteristics of Generation Z? So 60% of Gen Z individuals across Southeast Asia spend more than 6 hours on their mobile phones every day to scroll. So daily uses of the device include watching videos on YouTube, scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So I think all of you have TikTok, have IG, Instagram, so scrolling. And majority, 80% of those who that follow the news regularly use social media. So usually Gen Z get the information, what happening in this world, what happening in Palestine, what happening in Gaza, through the social media as their primary source to stay updated. So from IG. So now if you want to know the job available, you scroll on your IG. The use of social media as the news source has sparked concerns with its spread of fake news and the ability for anyone to act as a reporter. So today, everybody can be a journalist, can be a reporter. You can report anything that you see. You just can make IG live to report what is happening here. So sometimes we cannot differentiate, is it new, is it true, or fake news. And just about half of Gen Z have expressed that they somewhat trust the mainstream media. Gen Z, they really know that actually in social media, they have to be selective. They know, is it trusted or not? So being digital native doesn't mean that Gen Zs are digitally exclusive. They value in-person connection just as much. Although they mostly spend their time in front of the gadget, with the gadget, but they still have connection, in-person connection, face-to-face connection. With 94% regionally expressed that maintaining physical interaction with friends and family is very or somewhat important to them. So they don't only live in their dunia maya, in their online, but in fact they also recognize and realize the importance of having person-in-person contact. Now, this is the myth. Some people said have myth about the Generation Z, so about personal connection. So some people say that Gen Z always put themselves first. They are apathetic and don't care. But actually the reality is they have harmony with all, self, family, and community. And about life values, Gen Zers are complex and extreme. They prioritize individuality over society. So some people say that for Gen Z is quite maybe recognize themselves. But actually, the reality is that the happiness itself is the success. For Gen Z, happiness is priority. And for the media, Gen Z are unfiltered and overly dependent on social media. It is the myth, but actually the fact they know what they see, what they want to know. Now this is the data about how do Gen Z usually read, watch or listen the news. From the radio, yeah, still we have radio and physical newspaper, but mostly they use it they get the information for social media, 80%. In overall, 80%. In Singapore, 82%. In Malaysia, 90. Now this, if we compare between Generation X, Generation Y or Millennials, and Generation Z. Next. So when we see about life values, so for Generation X like me, the first is safety and stability. So if I choose a work, so I will choose the work that give stable income to me. But for Generation Y, freedom and flexibility. And while for Generation Z, harmony, self-worth. So between self, family, and community. And who they hold dear, in how they relationship. For Generation X, like me, is family is important. For Generation Y, themselves. But for Generation Z, close circle, and family and friends, so besties, if you know. What makes them happy? So I'm happy if I have a certainty in my life. So I have a fixed job, I got fixed income. But for Generation Y, expressing themselves is the most important. How to make them happy, to be as a spotlight for Generation Y. While for Generation Z, fulfillment of their own and others' needs. So they don't only think about themselves, but also thinking about others' needs. So if we see how about engagement, how can youth engage in Southeast Asia's future? So in terms of multiculturalism, I believe that actually because the characteristic of Generation Z is they embrace inclusivity and equality. So they're more racially and ethnically diverse. So although in Indonesia, in Southeast Asia, at the first place, they are already diverse. But now it's more diverse. Maybe at the last time, Javanese don't marry other ethnic, but today, intermarriage between different ethnics happen. It also happened in Malaysia and other countries in Southeast Asia. And then they are digital native, they tech savvy, but they can also consider with the truth or fake. So they know what they see and they can filter. And then Gen Z and millennial here, because youth value authenticity, inclusion, and social justice. It is the point of multiculturalism, inclusion, being inclusive. So in the future, as the nature is already born in multicultural society and exposed by social ecosystem that is pluralistic and full of diversity, and cutting multicultural education in their formal and informal education. So I believe that in the future, Gen Z as the next generation, in 2045, they will be leaders in all countries. So I believe that they can build a more multiculturalist society that social justice. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nina Marianinot, SSMA, for giving us such informative and interactive presentation. And simultaneously with the presentation of the materi, all participants were invited to take and enjoy the dishes provided in behind. Selama materi berjalan, seluruh hadirin juga dipersilahkan untuk menikmati hidangan yang telah kami sediakan di belakang. The next speaker is by Mr. Fahri Salam as a Chief Editor of Project Multatuli to deliver his presentation. For Mr. Fahri Salam, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for moderator and the participant and Pak Sodik. Thank you for having me. My English speaking is bad, so I will continue with Bahasa Indonesia. So I'm sorry for Thailand participant. I will continue with Bahasa Indonesia. Oke, aku agak penasaran karena kok bisa-bisanya di ruangan ini ada yang tahu proyek Multatuli, karena ini media yang super kecil, mini newsroom, pekerjaannya tidak lebih dari 20 orang. We built this newsroom is super mini newsroom, so just ya di bawah 20. Jadi iseng. Jadi let me I introduce myself. Ini orang-orang yang dulunya kami wartawan di banyak media, kemudian ada pandemi, kayaknya pusing ya, terus bikin diskusi rutin, ngobrol rutin, kita ngomong yuk, karena biasanya juga ngumpul terus tiap minggu tuh bikin Zoom meeting, kemudian muncul deh ide proyek Multatuli. Terus pada satu titik, gimana kalau kita resign aja, terus bikin media sendiri yang semangatnya independen, non partisan gitu ya, anti kapitalis, non profit dan sebagainya, dan mengajak pembaca untuk menyumbang ke jurnalisme yang kita bikin. Jadi jadi proyek Multatuli itu makanya disebut tidak cuma public interest journalism, tapi ada kata movement, ada kata gerakan jurnalisme publik. Jadi yang menguji nanti adalah gerakannya. Ini nanti menyambung ke presentasinya Bu Nina. Tapi ini isunya sangat luas, itu aja ya, aku nggak biasa duduk soalnya. Oke. Tapi karena ini isunya luas, saya juga bingung mau menyampaikan apa gitu ya. Antara lingkungan dan demokrasi itu luas banget dan temanya terlalu ambigu dan terlalu wider gitu. Oke, next. Ini yang pernah saya dapatkan waktu saya belajar jurnalisme. Saya belajar tidak kuliah jurnalistik, kuliah saya matematik. Udah gitu drop out. Jadi saya otodidak di umur 20. Karena cuma bisa membaca, jadi saya cuma membaca dan ya ikut aktivitas pers mahasiswa. Kemudian mengenal jurnalisme, kemudian diperkenalkan ini profesi apa gitu ya. Yang sekarang profesi ini jadi dinosaurus ya, terancam punah. Jadi profesi saya akan mungkin bakal hilang karena sudah digantikan oleh citizen, oleh digital platform, oleh orang menyebut digital kapitalisme dan sebagainya. Jadi konon jurnalisme itu diperlukan dalam demokrasi, juga sebaliknya. Dan makin bermutu jurnalisme, jadi kalau Anda mendapatkan informasi yang mendalam, yang memberitahu informasi yang lengkap gitu ya, untuk Anda bisa memutuskan tindakan ya hari ini atau ke depan. Nah, barangkali jurnalisme model begitu itu bisa membantu masyarakat. Nah, makanya PM itu membuat jurnalisme yang pertama mengawasi kekuasaan dan melayani yang dipinggirkan. Oke, next. Ini on demokrasi. Jadi politik menurut para peneliti dari teman-teman saya, Cakrawikara Indonesia, ini adalah proses alokasi dan distribusi sumber daya, resource. Jadi bukan elit aja ya, si A koalisi dengan si B koalisi dengan C, terus A koalisi dengan C, bolak-balik ke sana. Sampai kita nggak mengenal mereka baik atau jahat. Karena ternyata pendekatan baik dan jahat itu keliru gitu. Iya kan? Jadi pendekatan kitanya sendiri keliru. Nah, dalam daily life gitu ya, ya ini adalah proses kita mau mendapatkan gain ya, keuntungan atau distribute, resort. Nah, jadi prakteknya adalah politik bisa terjadi dalam keluarga, bisa terjadi di lingkungan kampung, terus lingkungan yang lebih besar, kampus, teman, kolektif, perkumpulan, dan sebagainya, sampai pemerintah, negara. Nah, jadi saya ingin bilang bahwa pemilu itu cuma satu momentum. Ketika kita ditawari seolah-olah dapat keuntungan yang tinggi gitu ya, karena memilih dalam mekanisme transaksional. Nah, menurut teman-teman Cakrawikara, transaksi itu nggak selalu jelek, nggak selalu jelek. Kalau jelek itu misalnya politik beli suara ya, tetapi begini, dalam beberapa tahun terakhir tuh ada istilahnya kontrak politik, terkenal waktu 2017 ya, karena aku nggak tahu teman-teman waktu itu di umur berapa ya, mungkin belum berada dalam tahap itu. Tetapi kami mendalami, misalnya ada di Jakarta itu ada namanya sebuah koperasi atau perkumpulan masyarakat miskin kota, disebut jaringan rakyat miskin kota. Orang paling tidak berdaya, kelompok paling tidak berdaya, paling disisihkan, paling dimarginalkan, paling dikorbankan tiap ada pembangunan di Jakarta. Sehingga mereka hidup di paling pinggiran Jakarta. Mereka tinggal di kampung paling tepian. Jadi kalau digusur lagi udah nggak bisa hidup tuh. Karena mereka sekarang ini ada satu kelompok itu tinggal di paling pinggiran. Nah, kemarin kami juga liputan ke lokasi tersebut. Nah, 2017 mereka melakukan kontrapolitik dengan gubernur yang kemudian jadi gubernur Jakarta. Dan kontraknya adalah jangan gusur kami dong, maka kami akan memilih kamu. Kami akan bangun perumahan dengan basis pengetahuan kami sendiri. Kami akan bangun perumahan dengan kolektif kooperasi kami. Jadi mereka bikin tuh produksi pengetahuan, gerakan solidaritas, jadi mengundang, kan ada aja ya, middle class kayak saya ini punya waktu luang untuk mewakafkan tanpa dibayar jasa pengetahuan saya dengan asumsi tidak ingin mendapatkan materi tetapi ingin menyumbang pengetahuan gitu. Kayak saya biasa juga sering mengajar menulis tanpa dibayar, nah kayak gitu loh. Nah di JRMK itu tergabung ada peneliti, ada urbanis, ada arsitektur yang nggak dibayar untuk merumuskan bagaimana bikin perumahan vertikal untuk rakyat miskin kota di tempat tersebut tanpa digusur, tanpa jauh dari akses ekonomi dan kehidupan mereka sekarang, tanpa pindah ke rusun yang disediakan pemerintah, yang itu biasanya akan memutus banyak ruang hidup, gitu loh. Nah, menurut teman-teman saya, ya itu nggak apa-apa, itu adalah tindakan kolektif. Nah, situasinya adalah saya bisa bilang aku mau golput, misalnya gitu ya, ya karena saya punya privilege. Tanpa saya memilih pun hidup saya tidak, misalnya ya, tidak berubah dengan presiden baru. Tetapi mereka akan berubah. Jadi golput itu juga privilege. Tidak memilih itu privilege. Nah, mereka tuh sering tuh. Makanya bias kita sebagai middle class, sebagai urban, sebagai yang ekonominya lebih baik, itu kadang-kadang tanpa kita sadari itu sering prejudis ya. Lu ngapain sih gabung ke si penjahat ini karena, nah, tetapi mereka punya pikiran tuh, worldview sendiri. Kalau saya tidak melakukan kontrapolitik, rumah saya digusur. Lu enak ngomong dari jauh, bla 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 bla, tinggal di kos atau di Jogja gitu ya. Tapi saya tiap hari ini berjuang, daily struggle untuk mengamankan ruang hidup saya. Nah gitu, jadi itu saya ingin bilang ya. Nah, oke, next. Nah ini pengalaman di Indonesia, saya pikir juga di Thailand sama ya, ketika mereka memilih pemimpin, tetapi mayoritas tidak menguasai parlemen, jadi presidennya bukan yang dipilih. Nah, jadi apa tindakan kita kalau kita menghadapi ya kekuatan atau sistem politik yang dikendalikan oleh partai yang elitis, dikuasai oligark, yang sumber dananya dari industri yang merusak lingkungan. Terus kita ini bisa melawan apa enggak? Nah, kira-kira kayak gitulah pertanyaannya. Oke, next. Nah ini sebenarnya call to action ya. dalam 7 bulan kita tinggal dimanapun di Indonesia, di Jogja, itu kita mengalami panas yang lebih panas dari tahun lalu atau dari 2 tahun lalu. Tahun depan akan lebih panas. Nah, orang menyebut ini udah bukan global warming tapi global boiling ya, udah mendidih. Bumi itu udah mendidih. Kita kepanasan, di tempat lain kebanjiran. Begitupun sebaliknya. Nah, tetapi ini adalah isu yang paling sulit disampaikan. Isu lingkungan itu paling sulit disampaikan. Pengalaman saya sebagai wartawan, kayaknya baru 3 tahun terakhir. Ada banyak sekali newsroom punya perspektif lingkungan yang bagus. Dulu isu lingkungan tuh nggak pernah jadikan cover story, nggak pernah. Jadi ini mulai ada kesadaran dan mulai banyak sekali beasiswa fellowship untuk mendedikasikan ke liputan-liputan lingkungan. Nah, ini ya informasi aja. Next. Ini survei yang dilakukan oleh Kompas baru bulan Juni soal perubahan iklim. Ya teman-teman bisa baca ya, Gen Z, Gen I, baby boomer kayak apa gitu ya. Teman-teman ya, ada yang ya percayalah sudah punya awareness ketimbang generasi saya. Tes, next. Nah, kalau teman-teman mau belajar soal komunikasi iklim atau lingkungan, saya sarankan teman-teman baca riset yang dilakukan oleh kolega saya di Development Dialog Asia. Mereka bikin riset serius, baru rilis tahun ini, tentang pesan perubahan iklim, yang intinya adalah darurat iklim, problem yang mungkin paling menentukan kelangsungan hidup kita. Anehnya itu yang paling sulit dipahami oleh banyak orang. Isunya tuh sangat impersonal gitu, bukan personal ya. Bukan bahkan orang nggak percaya gitu. Bener nggak sih ada perubahan iklim? Orang tuh nggak percaya. Nah, teman-teman bisa nanti baca risetnya agak dalam, jadi saya nggak bisa menerangkan semuanya. Saya sarankan teman-teman baca aja. Next, ini video bisa didengarin.
Manusia sudah hidup di bumi selama 300.000 tahun.
Oh, enggak kira.
Tapi baru 60 tahun terakhir ini polusi semakin memburuk akibat pabrik, kendaraan, dan pembakaran batubara untuk membangkitkan tenaga listrik. Polusi sebenarnya bisa terserap oleh pohon-pohon, tapi sayangnya hutan sudah banyak dibabat. Polusi berkumpul di udara dan menjadi gulungan selimut yang membuat bumi terlalu panas. Suhu bumi yang terlalu panas menyebabkan kekeringan, gagal panen, cuaca ekstrim, dan permukaan laut naik mengenai daratan. Untungnya, kita bisa mengurangi tebalnya selimut polusi dengan cara menghentikan polusi, menanam kembali pohon di hutan, dan berhenti menggunakan pembangkit listrik yang membakar batu bara.
Oke, ini hasil riset mereka juga ngasih contoh bagaimana nyampaikan pesan perubahan iklim dengan pakai keyword selimut polusi gitu. Nyampe enggak ya ke masyarakat awam ketimbang kita fafifu ngomongin oligarki, ya kan? Ngomongin pendanaan batu bara dan lain-lain. Karena next.
Manusia sudah hidup.
Berikutnya. Menurut teman-teman ini apa? Airnya bersih. Oke, ini di Pulau Wawoni, belum lama ini kejadian di sebuah tempat di Sulawesi Tenggara. Ini air minum mereka tercemar karena pabrik nikel yang digadang-gadang sebagai industri ramah lingkungan atau industri hijau ya, karena akan menghasilkan mobil listrik atau baterai listrik atau apa gitu ya. Ini problem sudah setahun nih masyarakat di sana menghadapi krisis air bersih karena pabrik nikel. Teman-teman bisa googling lah ya, atau nggak usah googling, cek di TikTok banyak. Pulau Wawoni gitu. Oke, next. Sementara ini kisah perkotaan. Baru kemarin kami rilis. Jadi anak-anak muda umur yang sudah dewasa ya. Di atas 20 tahun, di bawah 30 tahun ya, di antara itulah. Jadi memutuskan bertani. Ini agak aneh bagi saya karena kok banyak pembacanya ternyata, yang menurut saya historinya biasa aja tetapi pembacanya banyak. Kami tuh nggak pernah nulis 1000 kata tuh, nggak lebih dari 1000 kata ya, 3000 kata, 5000 kata laporannya panjang-panjang. Makanya agak aneh kalau teman-teman di sini kenal dengan proyek Multatuli. Next. Nah ini sebenarnya ini manifestonya PM dan aku pikir kayaknya sih bagus ya dikenali juga sama teman-teman. Jadi kami percaya sama kekuatan kita berkumpul, bersuara, bergerak bareng-bareng. Nggak lupa juga untuk senang-senang biar nggak burn out ya. Sambil membahas ya bagaimana kita bisa sejahtera atau bisa sejahtera bareng-bareng. Nah, karena proses politik adalah proses alokasi sumber daya, ya udah ayo kita berkumpul gitu ya. Atau bahkan sekadar kelompok hobi, misalnya ada beberapa teman-teman yang punya inisiatif kan tadi ingin membersihkan lingkungan dengan ingin memainten sampah di tempat apa, di komunitas apa gitu ya. Oke, ini putar aja. Saya kira itu dulu.
Healing, hilang, healing, hilang, healing, hilang, healing, hilang, healing, hilang. Kalau alam hilang, bagaimana tuh healing ya?
Thank you very much for Mr. Fahri Salam for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. Okay, the next speaker is by Dr. Meridian Alam as an Assistant Professor of Sociology at Faculty of Arts and Social Science, University, Brunei Darussalam, to deliver his presentation. He earned the higher degree Research Excellence Award for his PhD thesis in Sociology and Anthropology, School of Humanities and Social Science, University of Newcastle, Australia. While undertaking his doctoral research, he was involved as a student researcher for the Australian Research Council or ARC project, Environmental Education and Environmentalism in Indonesia. He is open to collaboration in the research field of contemporary youth problems, environmentalism and space. For Dr. Meridian Alam. Hello, Dr. Meridian Alam.
Yeah, hello, I'm here. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mister. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. So I'm alive from University Brunei Darussalam, and I'm now sitting at the top level of my DBD library. and it is 5 kilometers away from the top China Sea right now. All right. So, admin, can you please make me as a co-host so I can navigate my own presentation?
Okay, Mr. Dr. Meridian Alam,
Hmm?
your time
Yep.
is 30 minutes and the floor is yours.
All right. So, how can I navigate my PowerPoint presentations? Are you going to swipe forward for me, or
Yes, Mr.
can I operate?
Yes, here is ready.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. All right. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Meridian, and I am teaching and researching on the environmentalism and mental health at University Brunei Darussalam. I'm currently affiliated to Sultan Hasan al Bolkiah Institute of Education under the International Comparative Education and Sociology and Anthropology Department at the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. So in my first presentation, I am having a slide on the waste generation in ASEAN countries. So my today's topic highlight the increasing waste generated in Southeast Asian countries, in Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, not limited to Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. So among these countries, there are two countries that are mainly the largest or the highest waste generator in Asian countries, which are Brunei Darussalam, Singapore, and then the next rank is occupied by Indonesia and Malaysia. Next. If we talk about the waste management in Southeast Asia, it becomes so much prevalent, particularly at the municipal level, or in the city level, or in the town level. For example, in Malaysia, right now, if we talk about the policy level, so there is no systematic solid waste planning and management strategy in place. So overall, in Southeast Asian countries, the waste management policy and also the solid waste separation still become omnipresent problems, and then the number of municipal solid waste are increasing every single year. However, Brunei Darussalam has already adopted three principles, and the management of the waste management itself is under municipal government, including the organic waste and non-organic waste separations, leading to zero waste society. Even though Brunei Darussalam is also facing this kind of problems, currently the grassroots-based innovation and also the movement have been mobilized across the country, involving and engaging young people, the Gen Z, and also the millennials, and also the post-millennials, and also post-Gen Z generation, and across generation
Excuse
from
me,
all ages.
Mr. Meridian.
Yep. Yep.
Your share screen is not yet see here.
Okay. Oh, so you allow me to have a. Okay, good.
Oh yeah.
All right. All right. Now can you see my screen?
Yeah, I've done, Mr.
All right. All right. And even though Indonesia has so many grassroots innovations and also mobilizations, but the initiative strategies and also the municipal solid waste management are also um, being criticized because the plans and actions are not well done yet and reinforced at the city level. So the national waste minimization and also the collection target become like annual policy makers uh, sort of like a framework, and this has been since 2004. So it is our duty and our responsibility to help the government to reinforce the national waste minimization in Indonesia. And if we talk about the waste crisis in Brunei Darussalam, for example. So here we have data on the waste competition in Brunei Darussalam itself, where the solid waste output is 1.4 kilogram per capita per day, which is the second largest after Singapore among Southeast Asian countries, according to the Waste Management Summary Report in ASEAN in 2017. And the majority of the waste have been going through the 6 landfill across the 4 districts. So if you use mathematical calculation, approximately 70% of the per capita waste are accumulated to the landfill. And these are the composition of the solid waste in Brunei Darussalam. For example, here, the largest number is occupied by the food waste or the food leftover. And also number two is the paper waste. If we print out a lot of papers and then the paper become unused or we are no longer reusing the paper or recycling, then the paper will be going out to the dustbin, and then the dustbin will be moved to the local landfill, and then the landfill will be used as a incinerating center for all of these unorganic waste. And then second of all, after the paper, we have a plastic and also other type of the waste. However, yard waste, metal, and glasses are also pollutions in the landfill in Brunei Darussalam. And here we are talking about the municipal waste in Singapore. Unlike in Brunei Darussalam, Singapore waste composition is occupied by the metal, and since Singapore is now still constructing a lot of buildings, tourism centers, and also a lot of housing construction for the local residents, the waste the waste that are out of the construction materials are also increasing annually. And henceforth, the food waste are also on the top 10 of the waste competition in Singapore, where, for example, in the solid waste output is 3.9 kilogram per capita, which is pretty high according to the management summary report in ASEAN in 2017. And so the Singapore Recycle Center are now becoming omnipresent and the target of the environmental policy in Singapore to sustain the environment and also to preserve the natural habitat of the animals and also the indigenous biodiversity. In Singapore, because the land area is pretty small and there is not much, you know, the like forested areas or federal land like in Indonesia and Brunei. So the waste is usually thrown to the incinerator and also they are thrown to the local incinerators. So if we talk about the climate change and also the greenhouse gases, for example, the incinerators are contributing to the rising volume of the greenhouse gas, inclusive of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane gas, and also uh, other uh, other gases that are very, very deconstructive to our atmospheric layer. And this is the common problem caused by the waste. For example, in Brunei, it is because of the solid waste composition are commonly covered under the land, and also the water pollution, and then the effects are really, really widespread, including the burial method to bury waste into the ground, and also the waste are very, very hard to degrade on the land, and also it can pollute the water sources, of course. And then number two is all about the chemical ingredients of the waste can intrude the water resources, and then the water become unhealthy drinking sources for the human being, because it contains a lot of chemical contaminant. Yeah, because the chemical contaminants are found in the groundwater storage or on the well. So, for example, in Singapore, the same crisis happened because the unsustainable waste management are also quite, I would say, problematic recently. For example, in the Macau landfill, it has reached the highest capacity. So now the government of Singapore are also very concerned about what will happen if the waste management is no longer sustainable, and then the capacity of, um, for example, the waste container in the smart landfill is no longer able to accommodate the municipal waste. So this is also the reason for the Singapore government to innovate more and more the recycle and also reuse uh, initiative to reduce the municipal waste. All right, and also provide incentive for the citizens to recycle and encourage them to do recycle, and also um, create more grassroots innovations to understand why this process should discontinue. Other countries, Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand, for example, even in Myanmar, all these countries have not come up with a significant policy and also program to address the substantial municipal waste growth, because of the organic portion of the municipal waste are annually increasing. Even Laos has already ratified the National Environmental Strategy in 2020. The comprehensive policy and programs have not addressed the rising volume of the waste in the town. And I guess Thailand and Myanmar are also experiencing the similar crisis. And now the Singapore has developed the sustainable Singapore toward zero waste. And according to the CNBC, for example, the Singapore government has focused on the recycling because of the land area is really small compared to other Southeast Asian countries. But in the same way, the residents also not really conscious about their critical role for reducing the waste in the municipal level, so that the Singapore government pushed them by giving them incentive to reduce the waste. So, for example, the initiative has come up with a relatively good output. So, in Singapore in 2015, 90% of waste has been recycled, but 3% or lesser uh, has not been recycled yet. But now, even though the recycling uh, initiative have been in place in several locations in Singapore, still the waste separation is another brand new issue, because in the waste separation dustbin, for example, here on the right hand side, you are seeing the blue dustbin. There are four chambers over there. The organic one is um, symbolized with the green, and so the plastic, the plastics, including the bottles, are should be put in the in the separated box with the red signs or symbols, and also the cardboard. The paper waste are should be put on the uh, blue box. However, the problem still persists. All of the waste there are mixed actually. So this becomes sort of like alarming issue for the Ministry of Environment and also the water resources in Singapore. And they have developed National Environment Agency survey back in 2009 to ensure that household recycle can be done in a regular basis every single week through these blue recycling bins. However, the success story is still another issue because only 50% of the Singaporean households have successfully thrown their rubbish on this blue dustbin provided by the government. And this is another problem, including the top misconception on what should be recycled. And I think this is the culprit and the key causes of why some of, or probably the majority of the Singaporean households are not really conscious, not really aware of the waste that they are throwing. They think that um, plastic toys can be plastic toys. Only 50% of the household think that and understand that the plastic toys can be recycled. And only 59% of the households in Singapore consider that the tissue paper can be recycled. And even the soil paper and food packaging is still another issue where still 60% of the households are thinking that, oh, we understand that they are recyclable. It means that the remaining populations still not yet there to understand which one is recyclable, which one is not recyclable, which one that should be going to the uh, the paper box in the dustbin, in the chamber, or which paper should be thrown to the dedicated paper box or the paper chamber. So this is quite, I think the survey is really affirming that the majority of the household residents are still, I would say, lack of understanding, lack of knowledge about the waste separations methods. And why people are not recycling? So this is another question addressed by the National Environment Survey. Number one, because only few items to recycle actually in the household. But if we look back on the statistical data, um, the number of the household waste are very voluminous. And here another problem is that the household members are still confused about, oh, which waste that should be uh, thrown to the, uh, for example, paper chamber. If I have a milk, like a bottle milk, for example, where should this bottle milk goes to? Is it going to the soil paper box, or is it going to the plastic box or the plastic chambers? So this is sort of like conundrum, like if we talk about the individual initiative. Number two, the household members are very exhausted with the everyday household chores, so they don't have sort of like ample opportunity and chances. They are lacking of time to relocate their household waste uh, to the dustbin provided by the government. And number three, the problem is something to do with the space. where each household doesn't have location or platform or physical space to put their recyclable. Because the problem in Singapore is that the majority of I think the permanent resident and also the Singaporeans live in the apartments where the physical space are quite limited, yeah, and only small minority of people living in a proper houses where it has like a compound, it has a garage, it has, uh, for example, like a spacious platform to put their garbage bin outside their houses. So physical space are also another crisis in Singapore as well. And this is the uh, initiative done by the private companies. There are actually four waste collecting companies endorsed and appointed by the National Environment Agency of Singapore. Number one is the Collect that has a yellow colored container. Let's make recycling our way of life. So they use a jargon and metaphor to reinforce the waste collection among Singaporean residents. And also there is some stamp cord. Uh, the stamp cord is the old one, but now they struck uh, for collecting the household waste are still in operation, and these trucks are in function still in the country. And also there is another recycling company, the blue one. So this company operates under 800 stopper. Yeah, so this is the title of the company, and this company regularly collects the blue dustbin regularly every single week, and there is another one called Voila ES. So this is the waste collection process in Singapore. So the waste are collected from the HDB. So the HDB is like a, a flat or apartment provided to Singaporeans and also the local residents. We call it HDB. So the waste that are collected in three different chambers are collected by one of those appointed company, and then the truck will be relocated the collected waste to the what we call as a sortation station. So this station is dedicated to sort out, to separate the waste. We call it as a material recovery facility. All right. And then once the separation done, some of the waste are sent out overseas, or some of the waste are also managed and governed inside. Some of them are also uh, relocated to the incineration at the Tuas. So this is sort of like industrial areas in Singapore where uh, you will be seeing a lot of incinerators over there, and also some of other reusable waste will be moving to birch. And in the birch, for example, there is another level of or another stage of separations, and then uh, the way that can be sort of organically converted into fertilizer, or can be decomposed, or we call it as a decomposable waste, are relocated to the Smartcow landfill. So this is like the cycle of the waste collections in Singapore. And at the Smartcow landfill, actually, the waste can be the overall waste of the municipal waste in Singapore can be reduced up to 30% overall. Yeah, and there are other grassroots initiatives involving the private companies or the supermarkets and also the firms, for example, say yes to the campaign mobilized by National Environmental Agency in NEA, and also the plastic bags reduction. So all of the purchasers, if they go to the supermarket, they have to pay 20% per person. Yeah, and other locations, for example, in the fair price outlet, the customers or the clients will be charged certain amount of money if they require a plastic bag. So this is another incentive, yeah, that can socially reinforce people to reduce waste and to bring their own container. So what about during the COVID-19 period? As of March 2020, Southeast Asian countries were experiencing and suffering COVID-19 pandemic, where the majority of people are reinforced to stay at home, for example, yeah, and it has changed the composition of the municipal waste management. I guess not only in the town but also in the rural area. People are quite well during the COVID, I guess, and I think where people are staying at home, they order the food from the delivery services, which has helped at 80% increase of the household waste during the first 8 weeks of the COVID-19 restrictions, right? And also the even other countries, not necessarily in Singapore and Brunei, but I guess in Indonesia, in Thailand, in Myanmar, and even in Malaysia, the number of the household waste were also skyrocketing because they ordered the food and then the food was contained in a plastic bags, in a styrofoam, for example, and the plastic bags and styrofoams were thrown to the dustbin, and then the number of unorganic waste will be automatically rising. Yeah, so this is like a vicious circle actually. So in a nutshell, uh, the waste mismanagement during the COVID-19 restrictions um, has impacted several elements. Number one is that the change of the disposal rate because of uh, the collecting staff are also restricted to leaving their home. So then the garbage collection schedules were also changed. Yeah. Number two, there is a change in the waste compositions. It means that the number of the styrofoam, for example, the plastic bottles, and also non-organic and non uh, decomposable waste are also on the rise back then during COVID-19 restrictions. And the next ones, automatically, the volume of the waste were also on the rise, but in the same way, the safety and infection risk, you know, were also alarming because there are a lot of people during the COVID-19 restrictions were taking self quarantine and they have to dispose like COVID-19 test kit or the test pack. And as you can see that the test packs were advised to be thrown to the like the dustbin where there are also food waste over there. There are also other type of organic waste inside the dustbin. So it means that the infection rate and also the safety were also uh, concerning back then. So what we can do with this alarming number of the with the waste. So as a young people, I would consider myself as young people, even though I was born in 1994. I will be turning 40 next year, but I will be still considering myself again that it's okay. So we can do the social project planning, and I think later on I'm going to mention a very fascinating project done by the summer course participants, and this is the this is actually the ground rule when we are about to develop a program, so we can use like a smart between people. S stands for the specific, M is for measurable, A is for the attainable or achievable, R is relevant, and T is timely. So what does it mean as a specific? So our program should be a very specific, very specific. Why? We have to determine who is the key target in our program. What are we going to do? All right, and where is the locations or the venue of our program, and what are the key constraints, challenges, and even requirements that we must fulfill to achieve our goals. Yeah. So the goals should be specific. Yeah. So we are not required to develop sort of like rhetoric languages, but for example, we can say our first program is to provide dustbin for 42 households, and then the household, the dustbin can be relocated, can be put or placed in front of the household house, and then the collections of the waste can be done every week, every Wednesday, for example, and then who are actually the employees or the staff who will be collecting the waste. So we have to be specific. Number two, number two is to measure the success rate. Yeah. So for example, if we have a dustbin provisions project, so how many households that have, for example, throw or dispose their organic waste on the dustbin. So that's a measurable and calculable, right? And also number two, how many uh, how many times each household uh, reduce their unorganic waste. For example, they are no longer consuming like plastic bottles. They are no longer using, for example, uh, detergents that are contained in a in a plastic container, for example. So right now I am bringing my own um, tumbler to contain my water. So this is one of the measurable uh, goals. Yeah. And then number three is that the goal should be achievable. So how can we measure the achievement? So we can calculate according to the measure that we have already set in the second principle. Number four is R, R relevant. Is the program suitable for the local community members? Is the program is reachable? Is the program doable? Is the program financially viable? So for example, if we are suffering from lack of funding, lack of finance, for example, who are stakeholders? They are approachable. Governments, for example, municipal government, or for example, community leaders or relative leaders. So we have to make all the stakeholders, members will engage in our program. Yeah. And then the last T is timely. So for example, we can create sort of a prototype. So the trial error, the trial or error or experiments. For example, the first project can be run for about in a shorter run, for example, 6 months or 7 months, or in a much longer could be 12 months or 11 months, depending on our resources. So this is the project management flow. Number one is the problem identification and motivation. Number two is to find the objective solution, the reachable achievement. And number three is that we can set up the design and also the development. Number four, we can set up like evaluation and how can we assess the progress actually. And then number five is communicating our progress. So we can put the uh, the success story on our social media. We can do the tip methods. We can post it on our Instagram, Facebook, or we can create like a PDF formatted report only for one page, and then we can circulate through the WhatsApp group, for example. So right now in all countries in Southeast Asia, for example, each community groups, for example, each health complex, each clusters have their own WhatsApp group. So we can actually can circulate and distribute our PDF formatted leaflet or brochures that present our achievement through the WhatsApp. And I think this is also part of waste reduction. We don't have to print out, we don't have to use paper, and we don't have to throw the paper leftovers to our dustbin. So it's very cheap yet environmentally friendly method to communicate our achievement. Yeah. And this is the engagement, stakeholder engagement mapping tools. So we can identify who are the non-residents elements or actors we can engage. For example, NGO, are they government sectors? Are they private sectors? Are they media? Are they academics, researchers? Are they general public? Are they journalists? For example, is the Multatuli, for example, the NGO could be like Kehati. We'll be talking about this, about their key success story a bit later on. And for example, about what about the private sector around us? Yeah, for example. So this is another method of using the social media engagement. Number one, we have to determine who are the audiences. How can we engage them? What kind of other platform we can use in the conversion stage? So in the audience, for example, we can determine their demographic profiles, like gender, their residential area, their region, territory, their jobs, and even their age. And also, how can we engage these audiences? All right. So we can do a lot of things. For example, tweet, repost, share, reply, wall posts, making comments, direct messages, and all of these engagement practices can be done through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Right now we have a TikTok, and even the NFCC has set up a TikTok to engage more young people to participate in the program. And we do have, for example, Telegram, yeah, and also the conversion. So the conversion means that it's like a meet and greet, yeah. So if we have already several or a few numbers of followers on our social media account, we may invite our followers in a meet and greet sessions, in a follow-up sessions, in a, for example, makan-makan session, yeah. So this is a good way to collaborate with them, to mobilize them to be our prominent constituent. Yeah, and here, oops. All right, and here, as you can see, there are a lot of amazing projects that you have developed, and congratulations on this hard work. I believe that this is not easy and simply convenient work because it involves a lot of energy to think, to consider, to develop opinion. Number one is the youth environment cluster related. The project name is Reduce Waste with Our Hands from Thailand, led by the Fatihah Thai. Congratulations, Fatihah. You have developed very great project on uh, the garbage reductions in Ban Lam Nok in Thailand local community. Number two is the Ruas Alat Opa, coined by the Hidayat. Congratulations. And this project will be exploring introduct explorations on the revitalizations of the Opak River Tourism Center or village in Indonesia. And we have so we have a lot more clean and green in Lano, presented by Nurul Natasha Lahab, very inspiring project on the influencing citizens to join the cleanliness project in Thailand. And also Scholastica Kalika Rifa Samantha. Congratulations on these ideas. You have created Care Fun Day walking tour in Indonesia to really celebrating the World Tourism Day by reinstating the cultural heritage site conservation project in Jatinegara area Jakarta. And we do have also active youth better environment in Thailand, uh, developed by Isara Lahore, yeah, to confront the climate crisis. Well, it's very amazing. And also we do have recycle and reuse of waste by Iti Shara and Shara Tunanima on the reduction of plastic waste in a local village in Indonesia, and this project is expected to build up the residents' awareness about the waste that they have thrown in the community. And MESA have created a See Asia Change in Indonesia about creating community-centered approach for. All right, I guess this is about the regional awareness in Southeast Asia. That's very interesting. And Prananda Satrio focus on the youth social responsibility and youth drug prevention. I think this is a very amazing social project. Uh, I did I did my first research in during my undergraduate on the youth involved in a drug abuse 12 years ago, and it's really still sort of, I would say, concerning issue. And I think Prananda Satrio has stepped forward to make this issue become worthwhile for everyone to discuss. Yeah. The next one is use networks to prevent drug problems from the Punlapon Tamisara on. Oh, very interesting. The effects of the illicit drugs on the youth, oh, on the person mental and physical state. Yeah, so it's about the a project on creating more consciousness about the effects of the illicit drug on the mental health. And Diane work, I think she's working on the zakat care, right, to provide some assistance for the less fortunate community members. And we have a lot more, for example, Lutzania on the Rumah Baca Lentera Karachi. Oh, it's interesting. There is an Instagram account. I will be checking it later on. And thank you for providing this uh, Instagram link to all of us. And we have courses for international students in Vietnam by Eko Moyoyunus. So it's involved community development outreach or KKN. Is it correct? Yeah. Um, and the toilet Rama Warrior, the transgender friendly toilet, which is very inspiring, no? I think this is quite rare project, and then I think uh, it can be soon developed, and I think it's very doable, yeah. And developed by Siti Lutfiah Muhammad Rokil Bazik and the team. Congratulations, very amazing social project. And the next one is by Muhammad Al Hada and Wadila Habib on the Society Art Group in Beijing, Indonesia. So this is to reactivation of multicultural Japanese art involving several traditional Indonesian folk music and traditional music instruments taking place in a traditional space in Indonesia. Yeah? And the next one is Creative Takjil Indonesia. Wow, it's interesting. And the next is Zafira Anita, introducing multiculturalism to early childhood education. Sorry, childhood. So this project aims to teach and educate young people about tolerance, multiculturalism, differences, right? And I think this is a very useful because Southeast Asian countries have a quite, I would say, mm, cross-sectional cultures. Like for example, Indonesians speak Bahasa Indonesia, and some of the accents are quite close to Bahasa Melayu or Bahasa Brunei. Yeah, so but we can introduce what we can do in our everyday life to live and to collaborate with people with the different religions, with the different ethnicity, with the different languages, for example, different belief system, with the different for example, skin color or skin tone, for example, and different and other differences. Yeah. And the next one is how Muslim youth survival in a multicultural society, developed by Ayla Apia. Oh, it's very interesting. And also the last but not least is religious moderations and interfaith marriages in Indonesia. So I guess um, this project will be concentrating on interfaith marriage, um, presentations amongst the younger generations in Wonosobo, Indonesia. All right, everyone. That's all from me. So I'm looking forward to the Q&A session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Ms. Dr. Meredian Alam for giving us such informative, interesting presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, now come to the question and answer session. I'd like to have 3 questions from the participant. For all participants who have a question, please raise your hands and then say your name and where are you come from. Okay, want to have a question? Raise your hand, please.
My name is Aziz. I'm
Hello, Aziz.
alumni from UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Jakarta, psychology major.
Yeah. Okay.
I would
Great.
like to ask
Psychology.
to Mrs. Nur about multiculturalism. When we are in a situation, if we have a lot of subject, a lot of people in there, we sort of hard to make a decision because of too many people have their own mind in their head. And if we have a few people in that situation, we tend to be more easy in the way we make a decision. What multiculturalism see in this situation? That's my question. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, will directly answer or how? Later. Yeah. Okay, the next question. Maybe there's a question again. Yeah.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let's see. My name is Muhammad William Nevi. You can call me Wildan. I'm from Asosiasi Antropologi Indonesia, Jawa Tengah. So, how many questions I can go to? 4. Actually, I have 3 questions, but maybe 3 or 2 questions for moderator. I have
Maximal 2.
Okay, thank you. The first question I will ask for Dr. Nina. Firstly, you have many talking about the multicultural and the young people, especially for the Gen Z, absolutely. But for my question, special is about multicultural policy. So what the multicultural policy of each country you have presented before, and maybe the other case you have researched before for bilateral policy for maybe in Indonesia or maybe Singapore. That is the second question for Dr. Nina, and the second for Fahri, Mas Fahri. Oke, karena mungkin tadi Mas Fahri menggunakan bahasa Indonesia, saya juga menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Thank you. Pertama tadi mungkin Mas Fahri banyak menjelaskan tentang bagaimana proyek multatuli tadi ya. Pertanyaan saya simple sebenarnya. Mungkin sebanyak apa sih pergerakan yang mungkin sudah pernah dilakukan oleh multatuli atau mungkin gerakan lingkungan lain yang mungkin hadir di Jogja ataupun di Indonesia, dan apa dampak yang terbesar yang sudah pernah dilakukan atau mungkin hasil yang mungkin grow up banget gitu di Indonesia. Thank you for the attention and for the choice. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Okay. There is a question again. Okay.
Cek. Ya, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Izin untuk moderator dan peserta semuanya, saya akan menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Izin, saya bertanya terkait 3 topik ini. Dan saya berpikir bahwa bagaimana kita bisa mengimplementasikan 3 topik ini adalah terkait dengan kualitas pendidikan kita. Nah, bagaimana menurut pembicara di depan, kita di depan sebagai mahasiswa atau sebagai masyarakat Indonesia itu bisa benar-benar menggunakan pendidikan semaksimal mungkin untuk dapat merealisasikan terkait demokrasi, lingkungan, dan juga multikulturalisme. Karena menurut saya pikir juga bahwa jika kita hanya terkungkung pada teori dan kita hanya melihat, dan menurut saya saat ini itu pendidikan hanya sebagai suatu formalitas, yang mana sebenarnya pendidikan itu sangat penting untuk bisa merealisasikan itu semua. Itu saja pertanyaan dari saya, mungkin bisa didiskusikan bersama-sama dan bisa kita refleksikan bersama-sama terkait pendidikan itu. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I have already had 3 questions here. The first question have to answer, will answer by Miss Dina, and second question will answer by Mr. Fahri. Yeah, and the last question will be answered by Mr. Meridian. Okay, the first question is will answer by Miss Dina. Please.
Okay, thank you for the questions. The first is from Aziz. Okay. So, yeah, sometimes we find that more people, it will be more difficult to have a decision. And if less people, it means easier. Not always like that, I think. So how multiculturalism see this situation? So we have to come back to the, what is the 5 way to see multiculturalism. So multiculturalism is seeing people with their diversity. So actually, the term multiculturalism first come out in Canada. So in Canada, as an immigrant country, so Canada till now still accept people from around the world to live there. So they recognize and consider different background, so they can stay with their own identity. So actually it happened in Indonesia, but in Canada they used to be homogen, you know, in the West, I mean, so Europe, so it's Aryan and Pule, we call it that the white people in the West. But then Canada becoming a country that inviting many people around the world from different backgrounds to come. So they have the term multiculturalism. That means that you can come and you bring your own identity. You don't have to make it one identity. But in United States of America, they have the concept is not multiculturalism, but melting pot. Melting pot, it means assimilation. So different background with ethnicity and culture and language, they agreed to make a new culture. So melting pot. But in multiculturalism, it doesn't happen. So if this situation, so of course we have, that's why multiculturalism now is focused on how everybody, every person are recognized and considered. They have to get their right. That's why, yeah, it may be difficult to one decision, but if we want to, if we have the one purpose, so we have to negotiate with others. So it means also that in multiculturalism, the dominant, the majority is not always the winner. It should be everyone is a winner. So I will answer your question like this one. So it didn't see you are the number. Your number is only small number, and my group is big number. It means that we have to be the winner, but you have your portion also. Okay, and then from well done. So you asked about the multiculturalism as policy. So in policy, it's like in Singapore. Singapore is, I can say that it looks like Canada actually, immigrant state. Because Singapore it used to be a port. So every traders come, stay, so they have Arabs, they have Tamil, they have Chinese. And then the policy is that they have still see that every ethnics, we can say ethnics because in Singapore mostly are based on ethnicity, mostly in Chinese and then Malay and then Tamil is the three biggest, three major ethnicities there. But they still, so how they implement the multiculturalism as policy. So that's why they have bilingual. So they have English and they have their own native language, their own bahasa mother tongue. They have their own mother tongue. So if you come to Singapore, if you meet Chinese, so they can speak English and also Mandarin. But if for Malay, they speak Malay and English. And for Tamil, they speak Indian and so one of the example of the policy. For Indonesia, I think Pancasila and the slogan of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika is already as multiculturalism. So at the first place. And so when our founding fathers agreed to have not an Islamic state, we know that there were debate among our founding fathers. Should we Islamic or non-Islamic? That's why Indonesia is not a secular state, but Pancasila. Although today it's more likely to be like what Jeremy Mencik said, that Indonesia is godly nationalism. It's a national country, but godly nationalism because of the first of Pancasila, unity in diversity. So actually it's Pancasila that recognize every ethnics with every background, religion, although there are 6 that are not recognized, not official also, but major religion 6, but Indonesia also consider other religion. But after the Reformasi era, because of radicalism, so the radicalism, many radical group, not only from Muslim actually, from other religion also, many, the majority tend to be a winner, want to be a winner. So there were idea of having Khilafah or Islamic State. So, but also there is an idea of having Christian state. So like what happening in RMS, Republik Maluku Selatan. So, but that's why now the government have like national program on moderation. It is actually one way of having multiculturalism. So coming to bring back the trend that to be radical to be more moderate. And then, okay, for the last question from, who's that? The last question that later I think we can discuss it. How bagaimana mewujudkan 3 idea. Actually multiculturalism, democracy and environment is quite a big idea, big ideal idea. So how to make use of education? I think this is the one way of we make use of education is this youth camp. So we discuss, but we don't only discuss in theoretical, but you actually do your research on about waste management, about moderation, about that many of that I don't have the data, but I see it. So this is the way that we try. We have to work together actually to make it how to make it real, or to make it this idea happen. Thank you.
Okay, the second question will answer by Mr. Fahri Salam. The time is yours.
Oke, untuk pertanyaan Wildan, kami itu baru 3 tahun ya sejak 2021, jadi kayaknya masih lama ya ngitung dampak jangka panjang. But semangatnya sih sebenarnya bisa nggak sih kita bikin inisiatif jurnalisme yang nggak dikendalikan oleh elit, yang nggak kapitalis, yang nggak mengejar klik, ya, yang digerakkan oleh algoritma, yang harus ngikutin tren, yang harus ngikutin berita yang viral, yang dibalik mesin informasi mainstream itu meninggalkan banyak komunitas di belakang, sehingga kita kembali ke rule atau basic journalism, investasi yang besar untuk reportase yang biayanya kamu bisa hitung bisa 5 juta, tapi bisa juga kita habis 20 juta, 50 juta dalam satu liputan. Bisa juga 100 juta. Seperti tahun ini saya menangani kasus kekerasan seksual, kasus kekerasan seksual kan harus hire lawyer, bolak-balik ke pengadilan dan lain-lain. Jadi it's not business as usual as journalist, tetapi ya kind a bit of advokasi, ya, setengah advokasi, setengah bergerak karena kita bikin movement kan, dan melibatkan pembaca atau challenging ya. Bisa nggak sih pembaca terlibat dalam jurnalisme? Bisa nggak sih mereka nggak cuma objek atau objek ya biasanya? Mereka adalah targeting, micro targeting, and bla bla bla. Jumlah pembaca sekian, melihat dari page view, klik dan lain-lain. Kemudian data itu dijual ke marketing, ke iklan. Ini loh pembaca kami sekian. Yang kalian nggak sadar itu sebagai resource untuk media tersebut buat dagangan. Kita nggak menjual itu, kita menjual sebagai kami punya pembaca setia segini, tidak terlalu banyak untuk media mainstream. No, di luar media mainstream karena kami mengambil jalan yang berbeda. Jadi taruhlah ada jalan di depanmu, 2, ini jalan yang paling gampang kamu lewati karena ini semua orang ngikutin jalan ini. Sudah diciptakan oleh kapitalisme industri atau kapitalisme media. Karirmu akan seperti ini karena sudah diikuti oleh banyak orang seumur jurnalisme. Tetapi ada satu jalan lagi gitu yang ini nggak banyak orang ngikut, tetapi ada orang yang ngikutin jalan ini. Jadi PM ini bukan yang pertama, PM ini niru orang-orang yang atau inisiatif serupa di tempat lain di Amerika, Eropa, Asia Tenggara, dan ini melawan semua standar atau value yang dikembangkan oleh industri jurnalis, industri media. Nah, kita pakai jalan ini dengan manifesto, dengan kesadaran gagal tuh pasti, inisiatif tuh gagal tuh pasti, but the key value itu kan proses di dunia sekarang yang membuat kalian itu untuk hasilnya mana, yang selalu melihat itu. Jadi kami stop tuh di titik ini tuh udah kita cerai sama kapitalisme, kita bangun the other possibility world gitu ya, yang bisa kita membangun space ya. Sekarang kan istilah teman-teman kan terkenal itu, bangun space yang aman untuk nggak cuma tempat kerja, tetapi sebagai tempat tinggal. Jadi kami itu punya kebiasaan, jadi sebelum kita mau mengubah banyak orang, syukur-syukur kami bisa mengubah, space yang kita bikin ini juga mengubah kita dulu, mengubah secara internal. Jadi kami punya kesadaran, sudah deh slow journalism aja, nulis, produce, news itu nggak usah banyak-banyak, bikin aja. Dulu aku sempat kepikiran sebulan sekali aja lah bikin liputan mah, rilis laporan, tapi punya arti buat pembaca gitu ya. Meski pembaca cuma satu is okay. Jadi it's okay. Jadi karena kami tidak percaya, sudah stop dengan cerai dengan kapitalisme tadi. Jadi pengen menguji banyak inisiatif, jalan macam-macam jalannya ya. Dari teori, kalau dari teori ya teori kolektif, teori anarkisme, teori sosialisme, marxisme, dikumpulin semua. Jalan nggak gitu. Jadi itu ya slow journalism. Terus kalau capek kerja ya udah kamu berhenti aja dulu, datang lagi kerja kalau kamu sudah oke. Sering tuh begitu. Jadi tidak aneh bagi kami sekarang itu ya satu wartawan setahun nulis cuma 8 laporan, cuma 8 laporan, 8 reportase setahun. Di industri, sebagaimana teman saya sekarang gugat di PT UN, sebelum di PHK yang ada sekarang lagi rame, itu dia harus menulis 25 artikel dalam sehari. Padahal umur hari 24 jam ya. Wow. Jadi 25 jam kan nggak mungkin satu artikel 30 menit kecuali kamu mesinnya. So aku nggak mengharapkan teman-teman seperti saya, tetapi pada satu saat kalian akan bertemu dengan komunitas satu hobi, satu ide, satu keyakinan yang mungkin punya keputusan, harus mengambil keputusan. Yaudah deh kita jalani hal ini gitu, dunia ini. Nah, dalam pengalamanku begitu. Karena di usia 40, itu kan usia yang sudah tua ya, 40 itu bukan usia produktif untuk dunia jurnalisme sekarang. Aku memutuskan, udah deh aku capek kerja di jurnalisme mainstream. Cari teman yang satu ide, kita bikin ide bersama ini jalan atau enggak gitu. Terima kasih Hildan.
Okay, thank you very much. And the third question asks about how the quality of education can influence these three aspects that we have discussed. Will answer by Mr. Meridian. Time is yours.
Okay, yep. Thank you for the third question. I think the third question is very captivating for me as well, because when we talk about environmental education, we're not necessary, or we're not solely talking about the habitat, about the trees, about the plants, about the land, about the soils, but we are also talking about the engagement. So, for example, in the environmental educations right now, there are a lot of curriculums about this, and have been implemented in the several schools. And then, for example, in that schools, the engagement should be from the actors, the students, the teachers, who are from different cultural backgrounds. Like, for example, now one of my children is studying at one of English school, but what makes me very interested in this kind of school is that the majority of the students are from Philippines, from Indonesia, from Thailand, from Malaysia, from Brunei, and also from Vietnam, from uh, where are they? From Russia. So one of the regular activity that this school is undertaking every week is like it's called like environmental educations. One of it is a like cleaning the beach together, and then so in the cleaning the beach, the students must engage and they have to set up like a group, and in one group should contain 5 students who are from different nationalities, right? So this is actually one of the, I would say, creative curriculum, creative efforts from the schools to allow the teacher and the principals to introduce to the multiculturalism amongst and also the diversity to the students. So one of the ideology behind it is that multiculturalism or multicultural identity is also reality, and this can be, I think, involved in environmental educations efficiently, effectively, and I think in Australia as well, where this is also multicultural society. As you can see, if you visit Australia, there are the number of immigrants are a lot. The number of immigrants from Pakistan, from India, from Indonesia, and even in one school when I was there, 65% of my schoolmates are from India, Pakistan, Vietnam, Indonesia, and other Asian countries. And then beach cleaning project is one of the education. It is one of the environmental education program that the school had been implemented back then. And when I asked the teacher, why you are doing this kind of project, even though the project is just simply job, like a very very simple job, that we are collecting waste from the seashore, from the bayside. We are getting different rubbish from the seashore. But one of the story that one of my teachers mentioned is that actually you can learn about your friend identity. You can learn about your friend ethnicity. While picking up the rubbish, you talk about your religion as a Muslim. But in the same way, your friends are exchanging their and sharing with you about, for example, one of my friends is a Sikh. She's from India, and during our beach cleaning, she shared her sort of stories about the do and don't, some of the dietary restrictions that she cannot consume as a Sikh. So from that practical element, I think education is a very, very strategic to introduce multiculturalism, but in the same vein, the moral values of understanding environmental preservation, environmental rehabilitation, and also environmental conservation are also there. So we have 2 destinations that we have reached actually by doing environmental education. Thank you. That's my 10 point.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of this seminar. Before I close the seminar, I would like to take the conclusion from what the speaker has presented. The perspective of the youth should be a central component in the discussion of democratic resilience. So there is arguably some danger in suggesting that democracy should perhaps not be left to the young. In a rapidly evolving global landscape, Southeast Asia stands at the crossroads of progress, striving to shape its destiny as an economic, political, and cultural powerhouse. One might argue that as the world hurtles forward in the digital age, empowering The next generation will quality education and employment opportunities might become an essential catalyst for regional growth and prosperity. The time to invest in the future is now, for in the hands of the youth lies the destiny of the region. I'd like to thank the speaker for the informative and interesting presentation and all the participants for the very active participation. Finally, give the applause for the speaker and for you all. From the explanation above, I want to conclude with his insightful or inspiring comment by Franklin D. Roosevelt. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. I am Dinda Vivi Kurnia. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alright, assalamualaikum everyone.
Okay. Yeah. Coming up, the Hanover souvenir will be submitted by Dean of Faculty of Social Science and Humanities UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Bapak Dr. Muhammad Sodik, SS MSI. Time is yours. Acara selanjutnya yaitu penyerahan cindera mata yang akan diserahkan oleh Bapak Dekan Fakultas Ilmu Sosial dan Humaniora. Please give applause. Okay, applause for our speaker today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is break. So you can break and lunch. Later, you can also check in hotel at Okay, I'm so sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, you can stay here first because every minute again, Rector of UN Sunan Kalijaga will be come here.
makan siang dulu kalau udah selesai. Pokoknya nanti check-innya kan tergantung di resepsionis ya, apakah bisa early apa enggak, kan udah roomnya udah ada apa. Yang jelas ya 1:30 sudah harus di ruangan masing-masing. Itu aja. Makasih ya.
Makan siang dulu, terus ambil kunci, 1:30 baru mulai panen.
Check. Okay, the next agenda is lunch for all participants. You can out for lunch, and after that, all of you will be directed for take a key for every room hotel, and then you can break. And at 1:30, you must ready for enter in panel class. Diinformasikan kepada seluruh peserta. Acara selanjutnya yaitu makan siang, jadi teman-teman semuanya bisa keluar untuk makan siang, kemudian akan diarahkan untuk mengambil kunci hotel masing-masing, dan setelah itu Anda bisa beristirahat, dan jam 1:30 teman-teman semuanya bisa langsung berkumpul di panel kelas masing-masing, dan nanti akan diarahkan oleh panitia. Terima kasih. We invite for all participants for lunch in the place provided.